welcome back to my channel. Follow me, the girl next door. So this vlog is basically related to a quick pregnancy advice. So today I'm going to share 3 things that you need to take care of if you are in the first trimester. First thing is the morning sickness. So we all hear about morning sickness. We know that what we understand by morning sickness is basically nothing but nausea and vomiting. And you might have heard about it or might have seen in movies or maybe you have discussed it with your relatives and friends, and you might not be concerned if you are having morning sickness during the first trimester. But I would like to tell you something that is a little bit different of morning sickness that you might experience. So first of all, for lots of ladies, morning sickness is just not about morning sickness, like the sickness is throughout the day. Like as when I was pregnant during my first trimester, I felt sick all over the day. It never was just morning sickness, to be honest. So a little bit of nausea and vomiting is fine, as it helps to grow the healthy pregnancy. I tell you why it happens: because of the hormone HCG that increases during the first trimester. So that kind of aggravates your morning sickness and nausea and vomiting tendency. So that's okay. But for some ladies, the morning sickness is just much more than that of a little bit of nausea and vomiting. So they feel sick all the day and they vomit all the day. So there is something called hyperemesis gravidarum that is different than that of morning sickness. So if you think that you are vomiting a lot, you are feeling nauseatic all the day and you are feeling dehydrated, then probably you need to have you need to be checked by your general physician, or you might need to rush to the emergency if you are feeling really dehydrated. And if you are not able to have water intake, or you are not able to eat food, whatever you are eating you are just vomiting right away, and whatever you are drinking you are just vomiting right away, then it's just not a normal morning sickness, to be honest. Just don't worry about it. Hyperemesis gravidarum is pretty common in a lot of ladies. So don't think that if you catch hyperemesis gravidarum, sometimes it's genetical as well. Like if your mother had hyperemesis gravidarum, then probably you might be having it as well. But it's not scary at all. There are a lot of medications that help to control hyperemesis gravidarum and ensure that you are not dehydrated. So you need to understand one thing, like during your pregnancy, the most important thing to carry on is not getting dehydrated at all. So if you feel that your water intake is getting reduced, you are not peeing normally the amount of times that you used to before getting pregnant, and your food and water intake is really less, you are feeling sick all the day, you are puking all the day, your head is feeling dizzy, you don't have the strength to wake up and then stand, then probably it's better to get checked by your physician. Also, some people give you advice during your pregnancy that some stuff helps to reduce morning sickness, like a little bit of ginger tea, or maybe lemon, or maybe peppermint, and there are more to be honest, that you will find in Google, or maybe some relatives are telling you, and something like that. But let me tell you honestly, hyperemesis gravidarum doesn't get reduced if you even use all those things that help to reduce morning sickness. So these two things are really different than each other. Morning sickness never gets into the stage that you will feel dehydrated, or you will become very anxious, or you will get into such a point that you can't stand up at all. Morning sickness is like on and off during the day, but it's fine and it will eventually go away. For some people it goes after start fading away after the first trimester. For some it takes even second trimester to fade away. Like for me, I had this morning sickness issues a little bit during my third trimester as well. It didn't fade away after the first trimester. So don't expect, whenever you hear from your friends or relatives, that morning sickness will go away after the first trimester. It's not the case. Every pregnancy is different, so it can be different for you. But ensure that you are staying hydrated all the time, and just ensure that you don't have hyperemesis gravidarum, because if you have it, you need to be medicated and you need to be treated. Hyperemesis gravidarum doesn't go away on its own. There are lots of safe medications that will help you to reduce the hyperemesis gravidarum symptoms, and it will help you to keep hydrated so that you can have a healthy pregnancy. So that's the first one. Next, going on to the second one. So you might see there will be some sort of bleeding during your first trimester, maybe not throughout the first trimester, but at the very initial phase of first trimester, like when you probably know that you are pregnant. So I tell you why that happens. So when the pregnancy starts, like we always calculate the pregnancy start point as your first day of your last period. So during that time, like the first day of your last period and until the 15 days, like the plus 15 days from your first day of your last period, the implantation happens. So what is implantation? Like when the embryo gets attached to the uterus wall, we call it as an implantation. So implantation bleeding is very normal for every pregnancy, and that happens during the very initial phase of first trimester. Implantation bleeding can never be heavy, like you might not need to wear a pad or something like that. It's pretty much like your 5th or 6th day of the period, like a little bit of drops of bleeding, or when you just wipe out after peeing, you might see a little bit of blood, like very little bit of blood there, but it's not very runny, or you will not see like a period blood patch or stuff like that. So that's called implantation bleeding. But if you see that the bleeding is not stopping, maybe even after 20 to 25 days, starting from your first day of your last period, then you definitely need to see the doctor. There are several things that might be causing that bleeding. The first thing that I would say is the ectopic pregnancy. Now I tell you my experience, why I'm discussing this. So when I was pregnant, I remember the first day of my last period was 27th June 2020, and I didn't know I was pregnant until 24th July because I didn't do any test and I was expecting my period, and then the period didn't arrive, and then I just tested with the kit, pregnancy home kit, and I found that I was pregnant. Then I rushed to the doctor, and then we discussed about it, but the bleeding never started before that. Like there was no sorts of bleeding, you know. And then around 26th of July to 1st of August, during like 5-6 days after I found that I was pregnant, I saw very little amount of blood when I was wiping after peeing. And I was very concerned because I didn't know what is it. So I spoke to my doctor about it. The doctor said it might be implantation bleeding, but implantation bleeding normally stops within 15 to 20 days from the pregnancy start date. Can be another case, which is ectopic pregnancy. What ectopic pregnancy is, normally the embryo is implanted on the uterus wall, right? That is a normal pregnancy, but sometimes the embryo starts developing on the fallopian tube as well. So if that's the case, then that's ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy cannot be continued as the embryo grows into the fallopian tube and eventually it can burst, and then you will be affected and there is no hope for the baby because the baby will anyway not be live. So as soon as you found that your pregnancy is ectopic pregnancy, the best way to do is abort it. So it's always very important to find that out as early as possible, because otherwise it can put your life and the mother's life in danger as well as the fetal life. So my doctor thought could be an ectopic pregnancy. So then he then he asked me to go for an ultrasound very early, like 5 weeks ultrasound, where you can never find a heartbeat, to be honest. For very few ladies, you will find a heartbeat at 5 weeks of pregnancy. Normally, you get the heartbeat at 8 weeks or 9 weeks. But what you see is, you will see the sac in that 5 weeks ultrasound, and if the sac is developed within the uterus, then it's a normal pregnancy. If the sac is developed within the fallopian tube, then it's ectopic and you need to abort it right away. So we went through the ultrasound at the 5 week of pregnancy of mine, and we found that the sac was inside the uterus, which was great. It was a normal pregnancy. So nothing was done after that. Then the doctor said probably what could have happened for you, maybe the ovulation started a little later after your last period, which is why the 15-day calculation that we are making might be a little wrong, which means that you might be at your 15th or 16th day now when you are still bleeding. So this is definitely the implantation bleeding. However, if it doesn't stop maybe after 4 or 5 days, then just let me know. I was like, okay, fine. Then the bleeding eventually stopped after 4 or 5 days, within 2 or 3 days, I guess. And then, yeah, it was all good. But if you still continue bleeding and it's not ectopic, it can be a lot of things. So it's always better to check with your doctor if you continue bleeding. And the bleeding should be very minimal for implantation bleeding. Like I said, it's drops of blood, or maybe you just notice a little bit of blood when you are wiping your vagina after peeing. So it's definitely doesn't worth a pad. So you will know the difference, but definitely go and get checked your doctor if you are bleeding at all during your first trimester, because it can be fatal. There can be a lot of consequences, so ensure that there is no bleeding after the implantation bleeding stops, or if you are confused about what is it. The third thing is very important, which I didn't know and I want to share with all of you guys. So as you know that when we find that we are pregnant and when we go and check with our doctor, they provide us a lot of blood tests to ensure that our body is ready to go forward with a healthy pregnancy, right? So that happened with me, of course. My blood results were perfectly normal and okay. And there are few immunity tests that we have to go for. Like there is rubella test, there is hepatitis B, like just to ensure that if the mother is immune to rubella, to hepatitis B. And there are a couple of more things which I didn't know, I'll tell you. Because I didn't go earlier to check with the doctor about these immunization checks, I got pregnant and then I went, and there was no choice for me to, take care of something if I was not immune for. I was rubella immune, I was hepatitis B immune, but what I didn't know was a mother needs to be immune to chickenpox as well. I never had chickenpox during my childhood, and I wasn't given any vaccination for that as well. And I had no idea that if you catch chickenpox during your pregnancy, it can be fatal, especially in the first trimester. So if you catch chickenpox during the first trimester, your baby might go through a lot of birth defects, including in the neural tube and in the brain development, and as well as in the limb developments. But I had no idea about it. And the most catchy thing is you can't get vaccinated for chickenpox if you are already pregnant. Like you have to continue your pregnancy till the end, and then only you can get vaccinated to chickenpox. So if you are not immune, you just need to stay safe for the entire pregnancy and just wait, which happened for me. I was not immune to chickenpox and I had to stay at home for the entire pregnancy period because of this, because I couldn't take any risk for my baby. So yeah, like if you are planning to be pregnant, ensure that you consult with your doctor for all the immunization checks as well. Like if you are immune, if you are not, then go and get vaccinated and then plan pregnancy. Also a quick tip, if you are getting vaccinated for chickenpox, then you at least have to wait for 3 months to become pregnant or plan for pregnancy. So that's the tip. So these are the 3 things that I wanted to share with you guys, that you need to always be careful during your first trimester. I will come with more pregnancy related videos after this. So hope you enjoyed this one and hope this one was informative for you guys. Take care. Bye bye. Love you.